Hello everybody, what's up?
Ralph Fiennes is an acclaimed English actor, director, and producer known for his powerful performances across film, stage, and television. Born on December 22, 1962, in Ipswich, Suffolk, England. Fiennes trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, and first gained recognition as a classical stage actor with the Royal Shakespeare Company. He broke into film stardom with his chilling portrayal of Nazi commandant Amon Göth in Schindler's List, 1993, earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Fiennes continued to captivate audiences in diverse roles, including Count Almásy in The English Patient, 1996, which brought him another Oscar nomination, and as the dark and enigmatic Lord Voldemort in the Harry Potter series, a role that introduced him to a new generation of fans. Known for his versatility, Fiennes has portrayed both villains and tragic heroes with equal finesse. His work in films like The Constant Gardener, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and The Reader showcases his range and depth. Beyond acting, he has directed several films, including Coriolanus and The Invisible Woman. Fiennes has received numerous accolades throughout his career, including BAFTA, Tony, and Emmy nominations. And he remains a respected figure in the world of drama, whether on screen or stage. His commanding presence and commitment to his craft have made him one of the most distinguished actors of his generation. Early life and background. Ralph Nathaniel Twilton Wycombe Fiennes comes from a large, artistic family. He is the eldest of 6 siblings, several of whom are also involved in the arts. His brother Joseph Fiennes is also a well-known actor, Shakespeare in Love, and his sister Martha Fiennes is a film director. His mother was a writer, and his father a photographer, fostering a creative environment from an early age. The family moved frequently, and Fiennes was home-schooled for some time before attending art school and then RADA, where he trained in classical acting. Stage career. Before becoming a household name in film, Fiennes was deeply rooted in theatre. He joined the Royal Shakespeare Company in the late 1980s and played leading roles in productions such as King Lear, Love's Labour's Lost, and Troilus and Cressida. Even after achieving fame in Hollywood, he has consistently returned to the stage. His performances in Hamlet, Richard III, and Oedipus Rex have been particularly acclaimed. In 1995, he won a Tony Award for his Broadway performance as Hamlet. Film highlights. After Schindler's List, Fiennes built a film career known for emotional intensity and moral complexity. Some key highlights include The English Patient, 1996, a romantic epic that earned 9 Academy Awards and solidified his reputation as a leading man. Red Dragon, 2002, a prequel to The Silence of the Lambs, where he played the psychologically complex Francis Dolarhyde. The Constant Gardener, 2005, a political thriller where he starred alongside Rachel Weisz. Delving into pharmaceutical corruption in Africa. The Grand Budapest Hotel, 2014, in a departure from darker roles, Fiennes brought charm and comedic timing to the role of Gustav H., earning critical praise and a BAFTA nomination. The Dig, 2021, he played Basil Brown, an amateur archaeologist who uncovered the Sutton Hoo ship burial, showing his continued affinity for character-driven roles. As a director, Fiennes is also a passionate director. His 2011 directorial debut, Coriolanus, adapted Shakespeare's tragedy into a modern war setting and was noted for its bold, gritty style. He followed this with The Invisible Woman, 2013, which explores Charles Dickens' secret relationship with actress Nellie Ternan. His directing work tends to focus on emotional restraint, historical depth, and psychological nuance. Legacy and persona. Ralph Fiennes is often described as intense, cerebral, and private. He avoids celebrity culture and is known for his dedication to the art of performance over fame. Whether playing Shakespearean kings or cinematic villains, he brings a refined emotional intelligence to each role. His voice, rich, deliberate, and expressive, is also one of his trademarks, making him a sought-after narrator for documentaries and audiobooks. He has also been active in humanitarian causes, particularly in supporting UNICEF and promoting awareness of the global refugee crisis. Personal life and philosophy. Ralph Fiennes has always maintained a certain mystique. He rarely gives in to tabloid exposure and prefers to let his work speak for itself. He's never married, although he's had a few high-profile relationships, including with actress Francesca Annis. Fiennes has said in interviews that he's deeply introspective and finds emotional intimacy complex, which often reflects in his portrayal of emotionally layered characters. He has a deep interest in literature, art, and humanitarian issues. He's traveled extensively with UNICEF, particularly to places like Uganda and Romania, using his platform to advocate for children's rights and health programs. His interest in global humanitarian work mirrors the kind of morally reflective characters he often plays, those who are navigating inner turmoil, ethics, and larger forces. Face mask acting style and signature traits. Fiennes is a classic example of a transformative actor. He doesn't disappear under makeup or prosthetics, except maybe as Lord Voldemort, but he becomes his characters through voice, presence, and subtle physicality. Hallmarks of his style: controlled intensity. His performances often simmer just beneath the surface. Moral ambiguity. He thrives in roles that are not easily defined as good or evil. Elegant speech. Trained on Shakespeare, he brings a musicality and thoughtfulness to every line. Emotional restraint. He often portrays characters who are internally struggling, delivering emotional depth with minimalism. A director once described his acting as like watching a storm that never breaks, but you feel the thunder rumbling. Clapperboard. Recent and upcoming projects. In recent years, Fiennes has continued to explore complex material both in front of and behind the camera. The King's Man, 2021, he played the lead in this prequel to the Kingsman films, bringing gravitas and emotional weight to a genre that's typically more stylized and kinetic. The Menu, 2022, a pitch-black satire about fine dining, where Fiennes plays a celebrity chef with a sinister secret. It was praised for his cool, unsettling performance. Straight Line Crazy, 2022-2023. A David Hare play where Fiennes played New York powerbroker Robert Moses, first on the London stage, and then adapted into a streaming version by the National Theatre. His performance was hailed as magnetic and urgent. Upcoming projects: he's reportedly attached to direct and star in a new adaptation of T.S. Eliot's The Waste Land, continuing his fascination with poetic, introspective material. Movie camera influence and critical reputation. Ralph Fiennes is considered one of the most serious and respected actors of his generation. He often draws comparisons to actors like Daniel Day-Lewis or Jeremy Irons, men who bring intellectual rigor and emotional sophistication to their craft. Critics admire his refusal to be boxed into one kind of role. In a single decade, he's played a Shakespearean general, a comedic concierge, a Bond villain, M in the 007 series after Judi Dench, and a culinary cult leader. He's been nominated for 2 Oscars, 6 BAFTAs, and won a Tony Award, but many critics argue he's still under-awarded given his body of work. What colleagues say about him. Many actors and directors who've worked with Fiennes describe him as meticulous. He's known for deep script analysis, studying not only his own lines but the entire structure of a film or play. Intensely private, yet deeply collaborative, while he maintains personal boundaries. He's fully committed to the rehearsal and creative process. Emotionally fearless, several directors, including Anthony Minghella, The English Patient, and Wes Anderson, The Grand Budapest Hotel, have remarked on his ability to be both vulnerable and commanding in the same breath. Ralph Fiennes on acting. I think the thing that grips me most is the psychology of people. I'm fascinated by what motivates a person, what shame they carry, what damage they've suffered. That's the thing I'm always trying to find in a character. Man-vampire iconic roles, in-depth Amon Göth in Schindler's List, 1993, his breakout role, and one of the most haunting villains in cinema. Fiennes gained weight for the part and deeply immersed himself in the psychology of cruelty and detachment. Spielberg reportedly said he was so convincing that crew members avoided him between takes. Fiennes later admitted that the role disturbed him, and he struggled with the ethics of portraying such a horrific person so truthfully. His performance remains chilling not because of over-the-top villainy, but because of its banality of evil, a cold, bureaucratic kind of brutality. Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter, 2005 to 2011, Fiennes brought an unexpected depth to Voldemort, turning what could have been a one-note villain into something more psychologically terrifying. His physicality, snake-like, graceful, yet menacing, and voice modulation gave the Dark Lord gravitas. He said he viewed Voldemort as a damaged soul who cannot love, and he leaned into that pathos even while being terrifying. Fun fact, during filming, many of the child actors were genuinely afraid of him in costume. Gustav H. in The Grand Budapest Hotel, 2014, a rare comedic role, and arguably one of his most charming. As the fastidious, poetic, and profane concierge of a fictional Eastern European hotel, Fiennes was hilarious and heartbreaking. His performance captured the absurdity of a world on the brink of collapse, set during the rise of fascism, and turned it into a personal, human-scale story. It was a turning point that showed mainstream audiences his comedic and satirical chops. Scroll literary and cultural influence. Fiennes doesn't just perform art, he embodies it. He's read poetry on stage, including T.S. Eliot, Yeats, and Seamus Heaney, recorded audiobooks, and is a champion of keeping classical theatre alive for modern audiences. In interviews, he often references Greek tragedy, romantic poetry, and 20th-century politics when discussing character motivations. In The Invisible Woman, which he directed and starred in, he explored the darker sides of Charles Dickens, not just the beloved author, but the controlling, complex man behind the literary genius. The film, like many of his choices, deals with hidden lives, repression, and longing, central themes in Fiennes' artistic worldview. Globe legacy and cultural footprint. Ralph Fiennes has reached a rare tier, critically respected, commercially successful, and intellectually admired. He's managed to balance blockbuster appeal, Harry Potter, Bond, with deeply personal, challenging work, Coriolanus, The Reader, The Menu. Not many actors can navigate both arenas so fluidly. He's also increasingly being studied in film and literature programs for his contributions to modern Shakespearean adaptation, villain archetypes, and the role of restraint in performance. Stage mastery. Shakespeare and beyond. Ralph Fiennes is perhaps even more revered on stage than he is in film. His approach to classical theatre, particularly Shakespeare, is often seen as definitive. Hamlet, 1995, Broadway. Fiennes won the Tony Award for Best Actor for his performance as the Prince of Denmark. Critics praised his emotional clarity, vulnerability, and how he made the famously dense text feel raw and alive. This role launched him into international stage acclaim. Coriolanus, 2000 to 2005, 2011 film, one of his signature roles. Coriolanus, a Roman general who despises the common people, is a complex character, both noble and deeply flawed. Fiennes portrayed him as a creature of pride and pain, embodying the brutality of masculinity and the tragedy of alienation. When he directed the film version, set in a modern war-torn society, it was hailed for its bold relevance and lean, modern energy. Richard III, 2016, he delivered a chilling, Machiavellian performance as the Twisted King, complete with a magnetic stage presence and a fierce physical performance. What made this portrayal different was his restraint. He made Richard feel disturbingly real and grounded. Antony and Cleopatra, 2018, alongside Sofia Cannito. Fiennes portrayed Antony as a man pulled apart by duty, politics, and obsession. His performance was celebrated for bringing out Antony's vulnerability and emotional decay with aching depth. His stage work is often described as volcanic, surgically intelligent, and emotionally searing. Clapperboard Top 10 Performances, a subjective take. Here's a list of standout Fiennes performances that highlight his range. Amon Göth, Schindler's List, a terrifying and unforgettable embodiment of cruelty. Gustav H. The Grand Budapest Hotel, effortless blend of comedy, poignancy, and elegance. Count Almásy, The English Patient, a tragic, poetic performance that cemented his romantic lead status. Lord Voldemort, Harry Potter series, iconic, eerie, and endlessly memeable, legendary in pop culture. Coriolanus, film and stage, his personal passion project, intense, modern, and devastating. Francis Dolarhyde, Red Dragon, a vulnerable and terrifying villain who's more than a monster. James Bond series, calm, commanding, and a worthy successor to Judi Dench's M. Robert Moses, Straight Line Crazy, a recent triumph. He played the controversial NYC developer with fire and nuance. Chef Slowick, The Menu, cynical, funny, and ominous. His performance anchored this dark satire. Charles Dickens, The Invisible Woman, quiet, repressed, and deeply human. He explored fame, secrecy, and obsession. Books, philosophical and political undertones in his work. Fiennes frequently chooses projects that explore power, decay, guilt, and moral collapse, whether that's fascism, Schindler's List, Coriolanus, The Grand Budapest Hotel, surveillance and state power, Skyfall, or elite hypocrisy, The Menu. He has a noted interest in characters who are cut off emotionally from others or trying to atone, but can't live with some form of spiritual or moral damage. He has said in interviews that he's drawn to characters at war with themselves, and